Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Hey Man, It's Okay, a men's mental health podcast. I'm your host, Sky Bridges.
And I am Ryan Heapy, a licensed therapist out of Newport Beach, California. And we are here to talk to you guys today about men's mental health and mental health in general. And just a little disclaimer, my opinions here are solely my own and not in the capacity of an acting psychotherapist. But I am a licensed psychotherapist, and that does inform some of my opinions as well. Dr. H, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Thank you for coming back again.
Guys, I was so excited to do this. Sky asked me to do it. I was like, I have to find a spot in my calendar to make sure it opens up for him because I had so much fun last time.
Yeah, we did
First off,
too.
thanks, guys. Dr. H, I'm a sports pharmacist, pharmacy owner in Frisco, Texas. I've recently somehow adopted becoming a soccer expert on TikTok that has been going crazy, and I don't
Dude,
know
I've been
what to
seeing
make
that.
of
That's been wild.
it. I was live for obviously my team's Bayern Munich. I was live for Bayern Munich against Barcelona. 180,000 people watching me.
Wow.
I was most of them were talking smack, which is very fair. But it was
That's
cool,
the
man.
internet, though.
It's fun. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
internet. That's true. So I don't know how some of these people, man. Luckily, I have an ego to protect myself against these things. But some of these younger folks, when they're having to deal with kind of abuse, I don't know how they deal with it, man.
You get some good hate watching going on.
That's true. That's true. Guilty. I think I've done that before too. So yeah, it's good to have you guys. Good
Yeah.
to see you guys, man.
Yeah, you too. I'm sure you've been up to a lot since the last time we talked to you.
Yeah, just the world of pharmacy is so cool just because you're exposed to so many different aspects of healthcare. And specifically for us here in the independent world, we really try to look at health in a more broad sense. So it's more than just getting your hormone replacement medication. It's more about can we find the root cause of whatever is going on with you and how do we build from that? And after I think, so I had the podcast recordings with you guys, and then we had that panel discussion which
Yeah.
was super cool. And I took a lot of things from that, which was fun. Um, and Sky, you guys really, I paid attention to some of the guests that were on there, and man, there's some really smart people in the mental health space, man. And it's so refreshing to see. And then in my live streams, even with hundreds, thousands of people watching, I'm still making sure that making it evident that it's something that men should discuss and should be open to discussing, man. So I wanted to express my appreciation to you guys.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for letting us know that. That's so cool.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of which, that is one thing that we're constantly talking on here about opening up and maybe sharing your feelings or better communication and better relationships. But one thing men do really still don't talk a lot about at all, really, is often like what they're taking, both whether that's pharmaceutical, supplements, like sharing, at least not with me. I don't know that I've ever really had like a serious, deep conversation with a male friend about nutrition, yeah, and pharmaceuticals and
It's a weird
supplements,
thing to
and
talk
yeah.
about.
Mhm.
Yeah, guys, we what do we talk about sports, right? Music. Some people like to talk about music. And yeah, man, let's talk about your anxiety too, right? Like,
Yeah.
how often does that come up?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. But
Yeah. How many men are probably taking an antidepressant, maybe an
mhm,
anti-anxiety, something maybe like gabapentin, Seroquel,
mhm,
Prozac, and yeah, it's just never discussed. I held a little mini presentation with a family a while back. It was on grief, trying to be a little vague here.
of course.
And we opened it up back to them, and there was probably 50 to 75 people in the room. And one guy raised his hand and said, I just want to let everybody know I'm struggling and I'm taking antidepressants. And next thing we had 10 other family members raise their hands and also said the same.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Man.
I think I should know the statistics. Maybe you do. I think it's like 20%, 15% of people are on some sort of psychotropic medication.
I th
And
I
yeah,
think it's about that.
yeah.
And one of the not I don't wanna say crazy, one of the remarkable things when it comes to treating depression or, like, any sort of antipsychotics is even some of the side effects that come with it are things that men don't wanna talk about too. For example, like, you'll have men that'll be on Prozac, and then all of a sudden, they're going through erectile dysfunction. And some
Right.
people may think that, "Hey, is that from the depression or is that from the medication?" And that
Mhm.
just compounds the problems for them as well. And then you start prescribing something else on top of that medication to counteract the erectile dysfunction. We call that in the pharmacy world a prescribing cascade, where you're treating a
Mhm.
side effect with another medication. And guys don't want to talk about if their junk's not working. That's a very
No,
Boy.
tough thing to talk
absolutely
about,
not.
right?
Yeah.
Especially like to another guy, like a
Yeah.
healthcare professional like me, it's hard for them to want to talk about.
Yeah.
That applies to hormones as well. Testosterone to me and men, when you get to a certain age, it should be something that's included in your regimen, no matter what.
Mhm.
I mean, patients that get below 300, I recommend it for most people. Obviously, speak to your provider before you decide to do this. This is just my opinion. So making sure that you have that because for men, a baseline testosterone that's off will cause metabolic issues. It'll cause, like I mentioned, erectile dysfunction. Could be a precursor for pre-diabetes, bad cholesterol. It's so important, and it's not talked about enough.
As a man who used to suffer from low testosterone, I can tell you that getting my testosterone to the level where it needed to be was life changing. It
It
helped
really is,
me
dude.
even my mood out. It helped me
Yep,
in my life. It helped me be able to pay more attention. It
yep.
is something that we should definitely talk about at some point.
Yeah, it's and there's other medications that you could take to help boost your testosterone without it being actual anabolic steroid testosterone.
Actually,
For
that's
example,
I'm on some stuff that's not steroids.
good, good. I mean,
I'm
because there's ones called there's one called Clomiphene, which is just
Yep,
generic for Clomid.
yep,
Some patients are safe enough to take that one where they take it once a day or every other day,
yep.
25 milligrams or 50 milligrams. Only thing you got to watch out for is a lot of times you get an increase in your estradiol, which for men is not great because you start to grow some of these, and we don't want that.
To counteract that, I take something called anastrozole to stop it from
Nastrozole, yep.
converting
There
to
you go.
estrogen.
There you go. Drugs are crazy, man.
Well, you want to talk about that? What did you call it? Prescribing cascade?
Yeah, prescribing cascade.
Yeah.
Very common in the elderly. That's usually where you see it
Mhm.
most of all. So you have a patient that has like dementia or Alzheimer's. You give them an anti-dementia drug, then all of a sudden they have a tremor. I saw a commercial for the first time for a name brand medication to help treat a side effect of of a medication,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
blew my mind. I
Yeah.
was like, you have a hand
Okay.
tremor? It's from this medication, but let me give you another one. It's
Mhm.
bizarre to me. It's
Yeah.
just, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
it happens
Yeah.
to a lot of people. And the easiest fix to that is to change the medication, change what's involved in the medication. I don't want a patient to be on 10 meds. I want them to be on 4 and be comfortable.
Unfortunately, you're not the provider, right? You're the pharmacist, and you have all of this information and are so probably well read and stay up at all the latest research. But the person who's the least probably informed is the patient. But then often the doctor is, and often maybe influenced by rep or marketing or something like that. Is there any advice you would give in the vein of talking about speaking up for ourselves, how guys can advocate for themselves, either at the doctor's office, getting informed, or when they come to a pharmacist?
I always tell my patients to have a set goal whenever they have an appointment, be it with me, with a psychotherapist, with anyone, is that, hey, make sure you have in there the talking points that you want to include. And it's not going to come to you all at once. You're going to get in there, you're going to have 5 minutes with the doctor, and then bam, it's over. And so having that physically written down for yourself is the easiest way to remember what you need to speak about. And there is not a person that can advocate more for your health than yourself. I can't tell you if you're having problems in the bedroom. I can't tell you if you're having to get up every single night and peeing, I don't know, XYZ amount of times. But you can tell that for yourself. And it has to come from you, or else it's just not going to get any better. I can advocate for you the best that I can. I've had phone calls with doctors where I straight up told them, hey, they're having this side effect. Can we switch him to this? And it's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy switch. Most providers are gonna be willing to do that. There are always some jerks that are gonna be like, no, we don't want to do that. You don't know what you're talking about. But you try, right? We always try to help people. So yeah, having that plan and utilize your resources, man. There are plenty of advocates out there that are willing to help.
Well, I was also going to jump in there. Even myself, it's out of my scope of practice, the legal term there, of what I'm allowed to speak on in sessions.
Right.
I get to know these clients very well and see their behaviors and their temperament and whether they're coming in with more anxiety or side effects. And maybe to any other therapists out there or guys who have therapists, this is something like a resource or an advocate you can have of somebody who might see some of these things that are going on, or you might be able to explore some of these things further and then work together on how to advocate for yourself in that doctor's office.
Yeah. I think it all comes down to communication, man. Like,
Mm.
and I'm sure y'all can speak to this, is that if we're not open and honest with ourselves, we can't be open and honest about our health.
True. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us are detached from our own health in a lot of ways. I think we are finding out more and more, and I'm sure you're very well aware of this, how much the body, mind, metabolism, brain are
Amazing.
all so
Amazing.
connected.
Yeah.
And this is something that's new to us in the field and barely starting to get out there in the public. Um,
And I mean, do you so with you, Ryan, have
mhm.
you like how often are you like talking about their nutrition when it comes to mental health? Is that something you talk about at all or
I talk about it a lot.
good?
Yes,
Good.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I keep referencing this. I think he's Harvard's chief of psychiatry. His name might be Chris Warren. I'm brain farting on it right now, but he wrote a book, came out a year or two ago called Brain Energy. And he's
Mhm.
doing a ton of research at Harvard. I think he's got 20 different studies going, all on the connection of metabolism and the mind and the brain and neurons and all of that. But he's even making this, it sounds almost insane, claim that he can cure schizophrenia with a keto or low to no carb
Whoa.
diet. And
That's
I mean,
incredible.
just,
That's
it's
crazy.
a wild claim, right? And the
Yeah.
real difficulty there is actually getting somebody with maybe active psychosis to stay on a low to no carb diet. If he has them in inpatient settings, I think he's able to take a look at that. But yeah, no, I am hammering this to anyone and everyone. And exercise has almost twice the benefits that antidepressants
Mhm,
do on
mhm,
our
mhm,
mental health. And
mhm, mhm.
again, with exercise, there's a very mindful piece to it where you have to be present. I tell people if you're bench pressing or it's real hard to think about your problems when you have 100 pounds that may come down on your neck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that
that's a good point.
nutrition
Yeah.
piece is, and for anybody watching, go low to no carb. This is my favorite is low to no
Mhm.
carb. And do that for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and then go have yourself a big meal at Taco Bell and tell me just how drastically different, not only like your body felt, but the way your brain was processing it. I think
It almost feels like your entire body is slowing down, right?
it is.
It's not just your blood slowing down. It's like the neurons that are firing across your brain is just it feels like it's and I by the way, I love Taco Bell. Just that's my
I
fast
do
food
too.
vice. I'll
I
be
do too.
clear here,
Yeah.
man. I just love fast
It's
food.
really hard not to love Taco Bell,
Yeah, my
unfortunately.
God, man. It's just it's probably not the worst fast food place, but you know, it's whatever. Anyway, like and you're right, man. You
We are not
feel
sponsored by
sluggish.
Taco Bell.
Oh, not yet, right? Not yet.
We might change our tune.
But
Yeah. No.
yeah, right. Oh, Taco Bell's great. What? But it's it's amazing, man, that gut brain access, how important it is for, you know, just overall of just the whole wellness being kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it's I can definitely see that. I don't know if I told you I wrote a short book. Did we
Oh,
talk
No,
about
you
this already?
didn't.
Yeah, I wrote a short, like a little short book called The Seven Pillars of Wellness. I don't mind sending it to y'all. It's free. I give it out to everybody.
Oh, perfect.
Where I dive into seven aspects of what I call the seven pillars that of how to live your life well, basically. It's a
Do
free
tell.
book. You can go to my website and sign it up. Yeah, I'll send y'all a book, bro. I have a
Yeah.
PDF of it right here, so
Oh,
I'll send
perfect.
it to y'all. Yeah.
You know, it's so funny that you guys are talking about the gut and brain connection because over the last year, I've been working on clearing a lot of things out of my brain. And I've noticed that I've just started losing weight. Like I haven't been trying anything extra.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing anything extra, but getting that peace of mind and taking care of my brain first has
Mhm.
made my body start taking care of itself, which has been really incredible.
That's
I think
awesome,
I've
man.
lost
That's
like 50 to 60
Mhm.
pounds in the last year.
really you look thinner, by the way, from the last
Oh,
time I saw you. I
Well,
could tell.
thanks.
I could definitely tell.
Well, thanks.
Sorry, I wish I could have been there for that golf tournament, bro. That looks like so much fun.
Oh man, that was killer.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was killer. Yeah.
Ryan, were you there too?
No, I couldn't make it either. Yeah.
Man,
But
that looks
Sky
I
did an
love
amazing
golf.
job. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I know y'all we can talk about weight loss. I'm glad you brought it up. You guys have questions about the GLP-1s? I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, they're a big thing right now. Everybody's advertising those things for weight loss.
And actually, just to preface this, I just saw an advertisement. I think it was during the World Series, as a matter of fact, probably a
Yep.
huge advertisement
Of
that
course.
Hims, that they first came on the scene, I think with generic
Mhm.
ED meds for $20. You see a physician for 5 seconds, wave at them, and they check off a box. But initially, like the GLP-1s were this like rare gold that seemed like it was impossible to get. And also there was a lot of maybe myth or unknowns, just a lot of talk about how they really worked, what they were really doing, how people really
Mhm,
felt.
mhm.
And now it seems like it's really going to go mainstream. This can be, the cost can come down on some of these things because I know they were pretty astronomical and people can get generics or some other formulation of it. I think this is going to be one of the biggest things our entire society probably is using.
It's a
Yeah.
game changer, 100%. And I'm not a person that is anti weight loss medications. If you can get your hands on semaglutide and it's safe for you, I say just go for it. I've had a couple people ask me where I've debated whether I should recommend it or not. For example, like college kids, I don't think so. This is more for, I would say, people that are more towards the end of their metabolic range, where it's like when your metabolism starts to slow down after you get to what 30, 35, somewhere around there, and then they start including it in your regimen. I don't like it for people that want to lose 5 to 10 pounds and move on
Mhm.
from there. There are some people that really have struggled with their weight loss or struggle with diabetes um, that it's been remarkable for them. And I'm sure there are great stories out there for it. Now semaglutide is naturally occurring in the body already. And what it does is it works with your pancreas and it basically just slows down the gastric emptying. So it makes you think that you're full when in reality it's still sitting like you still have food in your stomach. That's why one of the side effects is constipation. That's one of the easiest side effects that come
Yeah.
with it. Because you're basically slowing down that motility of the stomach. Yeah. And so it's the same with trizepatide. It's the same type of medics that work just very similarly. And for patients that don't have diabetes, like basically you're not making your pancreas is being forced to make more insulin because it thinks your stomach is full. And so when you're pumping out that insulin, your body's able to regulate sugars faster. You're not eating as much and you're not moving as much of your food. So you basically just your sugar is going to go down because of that. Easiest way I can explain it. Obviously, constipation being a side effect, I recommend fiber for all my patients, including with a bunch of water. If it's really bad, you can try taking lactulose, which is a common medication to help with severe constipation. But always, obviously, consult with your doctor when you're talking about this. But some patients, they start off on a low dose and they build up. Other patients, they do something called microdosing, where instead of doing it once a week, they're able to do it once every 10 days, half the dose. And it helps, build from there. Anybody that gets semaglutide from our pharmacy has to be enrolled in our nutrition program as well. And so I don't want you to come in here and get your semaglutide and order McDonald's, eat a little bit of McDonald's, and then not eat the rest. That's not the idea. I want you to get a little bit of food that's good for you, eat that, and then not eat the rest. Because if you just get in that habit of eating shitty food, be like, oh, I'm only eating a little bit of bad food. That's not what it's all about. We want you to maintain those healthy habits because I don't want you to be on the medication forever. I need you to get to your weight, get off the medication, and maintain those healthy habits from.
What would happen if somebody is on the medication for a long time? Is there some detrimental or some dependency stuff or?
I haven't seen a lot of this like long-term side effects. I don't think there's anything severe. Just if you're thinking about it, physiologically, it's just if you're just adding more of what you have, it's not gonna like your body's not gonna stop making it. Your body's just gonna keep doing its thing. But it gets to a point where what weight are you losing? Are you losing fat or are you
That's true.
losing muscle at this point,
Right,
right?
right.
And for patients that are losing weight at first, when you don't have good nutrition and you're not hitting your protein goals, you are losing a lot of muscle too. So when you get off of that medication, you're going to gain the weight back and more in fat, not muscle. That's the problem. Yeah.
Oh,
That's why
that
when
really
when
helps with
I
that yo-yo effect.
exactly. And so when I have patients, I have them on at least 1.5 gram per kilogram of protein, 1 gram per kilogram of fiber, and 1 ounce for every kilogram of water that they have in their diet. Those are the three things that are
Mhm.
most important.
Per pound of body weight. Was that right?
Kilogram
Oh,
body weight. Yeah.
kilogram. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Um,
for me, I'm 100 kilos, so I'm up to 150 grams of protein, 100 grams of fiber, and 100 ounces of water a day.
what is a kilogram in versus a pound? Do you have any
2.2,
idea?
2.2
2.2?
pounds in 1 kilogram. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
come on, man, come on,
Yeah.
Ryan.
We don't deal with the kilograms very
That's fair. That's fair.
often.
That's fair. That's fair.
I do want to we were talking before the podcast on the possible effects on addiction. But so they're not speeding up or turning down metabolism. They're really
Nope.
not doing anything with that. Okay. They're tricking our physiological process into thinking that we're already full. We've already
Right.
had enough. And so we have
Yep.
almost
Because
just
you are full.
okay. Yeah.
You're not moving the stuff around because you are full, right? So
Mhm.
it's basically okay. When you have like a balloon and you inflate it, gets bigger. right? And if air
Gotcha.
comes out, it gets smaller again, right?
Mhm.
So if I can make you think the balloon is full all the time, it doesn't matter. It's going to stay full.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I've had clients tell me all sorts of things on the way they feel. And I also know that some of them have had drastically different doses. And I've heard
Mhm.
that that can be a very big factor in the way that people feel. I've heard some say that like food doesn't taste as good in general, or
Yes.
that other
Yep.
things, or even that I remember like their vape, the nicotine wasn't
Yep.
acting the same.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's what it has to do. When we talked about the addiction
Mhm.
processes, that's a part of it. And when I mentioned to you the study from Carolina, from UNC, go Tar Heels, when they talk about how it
Mhm.
helps with alcohol disorder, and because it makes you not want to feel like that anymore. It's amazing how it works.
So you would so in essence, somebody would, one, probably not find the enjoyment maybe of alcohol as much and almost be turned off a bit, but then also feel not I don't know, would they feel drunker faster? Or or
I
maybe
don't know, but
that's it,
it's with liquids. With liquids, it's not the stomach motility part doesn't matter, right? It's the
okay.
absorbed in your liver either way. So
Mhm.
I think the whole idea of it, and just just briefly reading this article, it just reduces the cravings for it. I mean,
Okay.
some people have a very unhealthy relationship with food. Me being Middle Eastern, we just love
Wow.
to eat because no problem. Yeah, bro. Like we just
Mhm.
food just tastes good. I feel good. It makes my brain think I'm happy. Right.
Mm,
It takes you to that place of your mom's cooking back in the 80s where it was comfortable. You know what I mean? So
mm.
it could be a little bit of that where I my dad used to say this to me all the time. Do you live to eat or do you eat to live? And I was like,
I love that. Yeah.
that's genius, man.
Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely.
And semaglutide just
Yeah.
makes you just think that you just need food just for fuel now.
Right. Well, oh, that's awesome. I mean, really, right? Like we should be thinking about food as fuel and not
Mhm.
as there are celebrations, and we should
Obviously.
enjoy
Yeah,
it
yeah,
as well, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes we should live to eat, but eating to live is because so much of this is psychological when it comes to just how you put your hand up there of our views and culture around food. Uh, and in this kind of higher information age, we're learning that we should focus on it as fuel, and what is that fuel doing to us?
And I mean, obviously, and we mentioned this before where we talked about the gut brain axis and how food makes us feel in general. It's not just about, there's obvious endorphins that are released when you're eating that home cooked meal versus something caked in butter from the Cheesecake Factory. And so there has to be a balance between the two.
What do you think about a quick aside? Have you heard of Dr. Gabrielle Lyons?
I have
She
not, no.
she is highly, does a ton of research in the field, and her biggest thing is that skeletal muscle should be the number one thing that we're focused on because
I
that
agree.
is the root of everything else operating well. That if we're
Mhm.
moving through the whole object of us, our body is to be able to move through space. We do that far more efficiently with muscle. And that being sedentary is actually like a disease state. So I don't know.
So
Yeah.
with muscles, it's directly involved with sugar metabolism. It's directly involved with oxidative processes throughout the body, involved ATP and stuff like that. So it's definitely super important. It's one of the things when you get a body scan they measure is actually your fat free muscle weight, right? And that's important because if that's lower than normal, you're at a higher risk for metabolic syndrome. And so I can definitely see how important it is. The other thing that I think I don't know if she talks about, obviously I don't know if she is, but visceral fat is very important. That's the fat between, your organs and stuff like that, because that can tell your metabolic age as well. And that's all directly correlated together.
One of the things that she brought up that really like lit this, I don't know, sort of light bulb in my head, I was talking about how when we look at a ribeye,
Mhm.
that's somebody who has had fat sort of infiltrate their skeletal
Yeah.
muscle system. And we
Yeah.
really want to be aiming for the real lean fillet. And
Delays. Yeah.
that's what our muscles should really be looking like. Yeah.
But
It's-
my
Yeah.
only beef, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you can speak to
Yeah.
this, is just like, do you think that makes like an unhealthy body image for people? That like, I know we always want to
No.
strive. I mean, I see her website, which is great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure she's
Yeah. She's
she's a
jacked
very
and stuff.
fit person. She's
Yeah.
jacked more than I am. But if I had a daughter, I would feel bad. Like, I don't want her to have that in her head. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to it.
I didn't. maybe Sky, I'd like to hear you on this too. I absolutely do struggle with this. Like, what is the message personally? What is the message that I should be sending to my clients without shaming them in any way?
Mhm.
And yet I don't want to lie to them either, that poor nutrition is going to affect every aspect of your life. And
Mhm.
yeah, so that is, and I have worked with plenty of clients, especially female clients who have had mothers who have fat shamed them, or just had very restrictive diets their entire life, might have shamed them for the way they looked in a dress at 9 years old, and man, they never
That's
forgot
terrible.
that. And it is, yeah, it is, and a lot of it comes from the mother's restrictive. It was from the same thing. It was the mother's
Mhm.
societal pressure that she needed to be extra thin, probably to attract a man. And she internalized that. And then that was passed directly down to the daughter. Um, yeah.
Or
So there's a,
son,
yeah.
or
Well, there
Or
you
son.
son,
go.
or son.
There you
Yep,
go.
or son.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Oh,
And only reason I ask
yeah.
is because I'm usually a very blunt person, and somebody will ask me, Dr. H, I lost this year, I've lost 40 pounds. I've just been working my ass off on this stuff. And they'll ask me, what do you do? And I just said, bro, I just put the fork down. Like that's truly all I do. I had a really unhealthy relationship with food and I want to improve that. I still love food. My wife's cooking is still amazing. My mom cooks amazing food, but it's just being smarter, like healthy 80%, bad 20% kind of thing. Some people take offense to that when I tell them just don't eat. Like it just or just eat smarter. What am I supposed to tell you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's a really hard thing to approach. I think with anybody. And what was it that maybe changed your perspective on it? Was there a
I mean,
moment, or yeah?
yeah, I was diagnosed with diabetes.
Huh?
I was very unhealthy. Like this was even a couple years ago. My weight was I got up to like 270. I'm 6'1". I got up to 270. And I was a college athlete, bro. So to go from that to this is just crazy. And as a healthcare provider, I should know better. Like I should have known that these are the signs and symptoms I was having. And my doctor, I still thank him to this day, bro, saved my life. And he's the one that got me on the medications, got me the right diet, and got me to where I need to be. But I don't want people to feel like that. I don't want anybody to feel like how I felt sitting in the grocery store with my wife on the verge of tears, not knowing what I should be able to eat. I don't want people to feel like that, man.
Now see, I have the problem where I had a problem even talking about diets because growing up, I was always a chunky kid. I was always a big kid. My mom was larger when she was growing up too. And
Mhm.
so, her and well, she would always have me on a diet with her growing up. I mean, I probably tried every diet out there during the 90s and 2000s. I mean,
There were
Jenny
some crazy ones,
Craig,
bro.
oh man,
There were some
Jenny
crazy
Craig,
ones.
Body for Life,
Oh yeah,
some of those, the raw
Weight
food
Watchers,
diet.
yeah,
the
Weight
raw food
Watchers.
Yeah,
diet was good.
exactly. And it created a very negative relationship with food to me because it meant that every food I got, I always enjoyed and wanted to hoard more of it and even
Wow.
hide it at times.
Yeah.
And it's something, my weight is something I struggled with all the way. I mean, I still struggle with it. I think but at one point I was above 400 and I'm 5'9". So it was pretty
Mhm.
bad, but I'm definitely below that now and feeling a lot better. But yeah, fixing that relationship and fixing my brain is really what has
Mhm.
helped me to move forward and let go of some of that anxiety over food. And what I've been doing is just be more active and take the meds you need to be healthy. And
There
that's
you go.
really been
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have been so
Mhm.
active. I've been, doing over 2.5 miles a day on average. And
Nice.
and
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to up that by next year, trying to get that to 3. So just having those goals to
Mhm.
set in mind is something. The problem is people want results right now,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's hard to get out of that mindset. So it's hard to set those goals for yourself. Just little things make the biggest differences in the long run.
What are some of the biggest challenges you have with trying to like turn around your weight loss journey?
Um,
Are
I
you
think
married,
it's
Sky?
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I've been
'Cause
married. We've been together for almost 10 years.
nice. So, was she always like a big help with that, or because I want to talk about that relationship. That's why I want to.
Yeah, I'm down to talk
Yeah.
about that. I mean, she was always supportive. My wife never forced me to like go on a diet. She never made any negative comments about my weight.
I
She was
hope not.
always very supportive of whatever was making me happy.
And like for me specifically, I mean, like my wife is God bless her. She could eat anything she wants, and she still stays this big. It blows my mind. So for her, like being on the outside of a healthcare person. She's a recruiter, so she doesn't have to deal with any of that kind of stuff. It was hard for her to understand, like I was what, 30, and I was being told I had like one of the worst cases of diabetes. My sugars were out of like over 400, and it's really bad.
Oh, wow.
So for her, it was a learning curve for her as well, because she had to learn a bunch of new stuff. And like for me as a man, like I felt like, one, I'm her Superman. I shouldn't have to deal with this. And then two, why do I have to put her through this? Why were my mistakes having to put her through? I don't know if you ever had that problem, or
I
hell, I
did,
don't
but
think
not with my
guys talk about
weight.
this. Yeah?
I had that problem when it came to my mental health.
Mm.
Because I didn't take care of myself and I wasn't doing anything to be better. I grew up in a pretty high control religious group. And so I didn't think that taking care of my mental health was important. And then, when I lost my cousin, and going to therapy is really when she had to sit back and tell me, "Hey, I need you to take care of your brain." That was the one time she stepped in on my health because she's like, "You're
Wow.
beyond the point where I can help you." But getting that in line has helped get my health in line as well. And she's been very supportive of that. She always says, "What do I need to do differently to support your journey?"
Yo,
And
shout out to
she's,
our wives, man.
yeah, for
You know,
sure.
I will also say I'm single, and that affords me a lot more time to spend at the gym, to create meal plans. There's also a built-in incentive there to look good if I want to attract somebody.
That's true. Yeah. You're
And
still a stud. If you guys aren't watching this, listening, Brian's still a stud. And I just heard that he's single too. So just like, no, no.
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Ladies.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah. And I also know the second I've entered into relationships, that's keeping that almost health first perspective, priority, I guess,
Mhm.
sort of goes sideways. But there's like, there's some beauty in that too, is you get to spend a lot of great meals with your
Yeah.
partner. But I think so much goes into perspective and the framing and the narrative that we have around all of these, whether that's like the relationship and the story maybe that you and your partner have, keeping health, or nutrition a priority. Yeah, there's some pros and cons, I think, to the effect of how a partner weighs in. No pun intended. I signed up for a new gym called Lifetime. I don't know if you're
We have that here
familiar with
too.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
they're
that here.
super nice. And I don't know, for
Yeah.
anybody out there, that's one extra thing that really motivates me. Is I do spend an extra couple $100, but to me, it's worth every penny. It gets me in there. The people are
Mhm.
so friendly. There is that like competition aspect of other
Mhm.
people who are
Mhm.
in, pretty good shape. And yeah, if you do have a good gym or you can get a
Mhm.
good trainer, those are great ways to,
Oh yeah.
to continue kind of that motivation. Because it is what is it? The hardest thing you got to fight with is getting off the couch. There's
That's it, man.
yeah. Yeah.
Have you there's I recently recorded a solo podcast talking about how to incorporate healthy habits into your busy schedule. And one of them was talking about microtasking, where
Okay.
instead of
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, I'm gonna add this task of that I'm gonna go to the gym," the first task you make, "No, I'm gonna get my workout clothes out," or I'm gonna get dressed in my workout clothes. And just breaking it down into those small things have really helped people build into those good habits too.
Yeah.
I
We
could
have a
even just
place.
like drive to the gym, even if you don't go in.
Yeah. Just take the check
Yeah.
mark, bro. Just take the drive. It's easy. You go, "Oh, I'm already here. Might as well go in now," right?
Yep. Absolutely. It makes those big tasks so much less daunting. Right. Like it's so much easier to go take a look at your workout clothes versus, okay, now I got to make my protein shake and got to get
Mhm,
ready. I got
mhm.
to pack my bag and, it's a whole process. So yeah, breaking those things down.
This completely came off the rails, guys. I'm sorry. It's my
That's
That's
okay.
fault.
Do you guys both approach men differently as far as nutrition, whether they are people who are fit people versus people who, like to live more of a sedentary life?
I think you have to, right?
Mhm.
Because like I don't want to make somebody feel like they don't know something, or if like I'm preaching something that they already know, then it has to like there's got to be like I have to treat them differently just because I don't know what this guy knows, and this guy may know more than I do, so I don't want to break it down and make myself sound like an idiot, you know?
Because as a larger person, it's so
Yeah.
hard because I know my doctors are going to tell me to lose weight. Like, yeah, thanks. I
How
already know
annoying is
that.
that, by the way?
It's super annoying. I hate it.
Yeah. It's like, "Oh, thanks.
It
I
made me
didn't
not,
know."
made me not want to go to the doctor for a long time.
Really?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good point.
So I was
Annoying.
like, they're just
Yeah.
going to tell me to lose weight. What's the point?
Yeah. That's annoying, dude. I listen, man, for people, there's so much now with the internet and with, like, new medications and supplements.
Mhm.
There are so many things to help people get where they wanna get to as far as their wellness, their weight, and everything. So I wish our job even on here is just to show them the tools, right? Show them that these are what your options that are available. These are the cool people you can talk to. These are the gyms that you can go to. So it's all about information, man. It's just
Yeah,
getting
I like
info
that.
out, good
Yeah.
information out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I'll admit it is a little hard for me. It used to be, I went through a terrible time where I was in bed for almost 2 to 3 years straight and dependent upon opiates, which also killed my testosterone and also my
Mhm.
natural kind of painkilling um, neurons. And now that I'm in this place and I feel so good and I know how good lifting weights, resistance training makes me feel and eating, how much better I feel when I'm eating well. I want to pass that along and I really just want to give it to people. And I
Yeah.
wish because I think you don't realize how great can be, I think, until you get there. And so or until you're like really along the journey. And so
Mhm.
it's really hard to help somebody, or it's been very difficult for me to be able to pass that message along in a way that isn't, stigmatizing in any way, but also wanting to share, like in embodying my job as a therapist. I want your mental health to be great, and this is such a key.
I want us to be honest with just people out there. Like, we don't do these things just for fun. We get
You know?
paid, right? We're this is what our profession is. When I have a patient that I know can do well, but in their mind, oh, this guy's just here for a salary. Breaking that
Mhm.
barrier is very difficult for me. That's the hardest thing that I've had. And obviously, maybe you can speak to this a little bit, but I've been trying to improve for myself,
Mhm.
making sure that I show more empathy towards people that are going through different struggles. Just because, I mean, I'll be honest, I come off as arrogant or cocky, whatever, and I want to be more approachable. So, do you have any advice for that?
I mean, I think just practicing what you're practicing, just having the awareness that, hey, I should have some empathy here instead of maybe just pitching whatever whatever's important to me and actually putting myself in the other person's shoes, really asking questions, being curious. I think curiosity is like the antidote to the
Yeah,
judgment and is really the key to empathy. And then if you can really articulate that back to somebody and let them know that you understand where they're coming from, I think, yeah, I'll keep hammering on curiosity. And
I
earlier,
like
like
that.
just acknowledging my own judgment that comes in when I'm talking to people or with my own clients. So it's funny. When I'm going through something, when I'm maybe a little under the weather, a little run down, I don't know, not eating great, not optimal human, I am far more compassionate, far more
Really?
empathetic. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
It
that's what.
it like brings me back down to like I'm suffering, just like everybody else is. And
Mhm. You mean you're
so
human, right?
yeah, exactly.
Not Superman.
Exactly.
Dang.
No.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to
Yeah.
remember to
No.
being approachable is
Yeah.
find out the story behind the person. Maybe you can help them even better than just telling them, "Hey, here's the facts. Here's what works for
Yeah.
everybody." Well, I've tried that. That doesn't work for me. Well, let's figure out what your
Mhm.
story is to see if we can nail some stuff down or maybe figure out what's going on. Maybe it's more than just medication. Maybe you need to go talk to somebody about your
Yeah.
mental health instead of just taking medication for it.
I like it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sometimes I
again,
think it would be
yeah.
a little less
Um,
approachable. I
um,
find people walk up to me constantly on the street.
Oh, really? They
really?
just want to say what's
Really?
up. You
Oh, yeah.
you just seem so approachable, bro.
People pick me out of a crowd to ask questions to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's happened twice this week already.
For real?
Oh yeah.
I'm the opposite. I think
Yeah.
people go across the street for me, man. They s- they s- they see an Arab man with a beard, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go this."
You do, Scott. You look like you would have something good to contribute. I don't know. There's
Yeah,
like that
wisdom.
energy about
I don't
you.
know
I'll
what it
take
is.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I'll
just like,
take it.
I just want to ask Guy all the questions.
I'll take it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Well, Dr.
Yeah.
H, I'm not sure. I don't know. Where do you want to go with this? Either tell us maybe to just round this out, like what those 7 pillars of health are, and maybe
Oh
which
goodness.
ones of
You're
those
oh my god.
are your favorite, or also, what somebody who's listened to this, whether that's maybe like the top few supplements you think, if there's just a few
I have some of
things
my
to take
favorites.
away?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we had the same conversation last time, but I will definitely bring up some other ones for you. First off, so the 7 pillars of wellness, the whole idea is that I wanted to think of ways of just it's not just about, being well from the medications that you take, but we're talking about spiritual wellness, environmental wellness, physical, occupational. There's all 7 of them. And to me, I wanted to find the ones that meant the most to me that I wanted to work on, and one of them was spiritual. I wanted to be, closer into my religion. I was raised Muslim. I'm proud to say, Alhamdulillah, I am still Muslim, and it's something that I've been diving deeper into. I don't work Fridays anymore to make sure that I'm able to go to Friday prayer. That's what's important to me, and I've learned so much about that aspect just from chatting with imams and some of the older heads that are at the mosque all the time. So that was the biggest thing for me. So spirituality, super important. One other one that I think a lot of people like to make fun of is environmental. I was like, I care about our environment. I care about what happens with the earth and making sure that we're leave it better than we were before. So I drive electric now. I will never drive a Tesla because I refuse to give Elon Musk my money. But I do drive an electric vehicle, so that's something that was important to me. And yeah, but my wife hates it, but I've been hounding her about recycling too. Which in
Yeah.
Texas is tough to do, man.
Well, I think there's some big stuff behind both of those, right? Like the spiritual pillar there gives us a framework of how to live life. It gives us it's the foundation of our values, which then we know how to behave, and then we can act upon our word. And then I think with environmental, I think we have lost so much of our connection to earth, to the land, to
Mhm,
everything.
mhm, mhm.
And I think we've become so disconnected, and it'd be great to get back to environmental and spiritual, I think go hand in hand. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, so the 7, I just had to pull it up, I'm sorry. Emotional, physical, intellectual, spiritual, nutritional, environmental, and social. Those are the 7. And there's a book, if you go to,
yeah.
stonebriarpharmacy.com, you hit the link, you get a free copy of the book, which we just emailed to you,
We'll
so,
put it on our
uh,
website too.
thanks, man. I'll send you
Yeah.
guys a copy too, and you can
Chiller.
make fun
Nice.
of my writing, which is fine.
Yeah. Love it.
I
And
love
Love
it.
it.
supplements,
Yeah.
there is one that has been named Nature's Ozempic, and it's called berberine. Berberine, there are actually clinical studies showing how it lowers A1C and blood sugar. It also curbs appetite too. So if it's safe for you to take, definitely check out berberine.
And you have a specific brand you like of it?
Yeah,
Because I
I
believe we actually talked about it a few months ago, I think.
yeah, I think we did.
I haven't gotten it, but yeah, we talked about it a
Since
few months
then,
ago.
we started our own vitamin line at Stonebriar Pharmacy, which again
Oh,
at stonebriarpharmacy.com. It's available.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. We
yeah.
have 80 different vitamins to choose from. It's labeled with me. I designed everything that's on there. I had my own formulations for athletes that are looking for multivitamins. I made my own protein that's on there too, that was plant based. It's been great, man.
Wow.
We partnered with a company called WellMed, and it's been going well for us.
That's great, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
You're working hard.
I got to, bro. You got to
Yeah.
stay hustling, man.
Yeah. I love it. Keeps you sharp. Um,
Yeah, I get bored, I think is what it is, dude.
uh,
Now I'm only in the pharmacy 3 days a week, so like I have like time to do other stuff. So it's
mm,
fun.
Like
nice.
TikTok videos.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
TikToks. I just posted one just now that I'm 100% sure I'm about to get roasted on, man.
Well, I love it. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. It's always every time we
Appreciate
have
y'all,
you,
man.
it's always so much fun
Yeah, dude, I like listen,
and
I love
informative.
coming to
Yeah.
chat with you guys, man.
Yeah.
Y'all make it easy, that's for sure.
Well,
Ah, man. Well, yeah, thanks again for coming on, Dr. H. Your insights are always very welcome. And I know Ryan and I always get a kick out of having a conversation with
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. And to our listeners, thanks everybody for listening to another episode of Hey Man, It's Okay. Make sure to check out stonebriarpharmacy.com to get Dr. H's book and to check out his new supplements, stonebriarpharmacy.com. And for us, make sure to like us, follow us, comment, subscribe. Everything on social media is at Hey Man, It's Okay. Okay is just the letters OK, not OKAY. And from Sky, I just want to say thanks again for coming. And it's okay to not be okay, guys. And please reach out to us if you need anything or talk to your own therapist.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Till next time.